And welcome to the Double D Wrestlecast. My name is Steve.
Rich.
And we are here to give our reactions to the Payback PPV that just occurred this evening. We're going to go through each of the matches, what we thought, how we feel about the booking, how our predictions were with our reactions that we just did a few days ago, and our overall impression of the show. Starting with the first match on the pre-show, Enzo and Cass versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson on the pre-show. So Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson became tag team champions, lose it at WrestleMania, and now they're opening on the kickoff show. How much of the match did you watch?
Nothing, because there was nothing on the line, so I was aware what was going on. I don't even remember what the finish was.
You were not watching. I know you did not see the finish of what happened. Enzo and Cass won. I don't even know. They've wrestled 100 times, and they go with their 50-50 booking. So it's probably 50-50. Who knows who's won more?
So
it doesn't matter.
What was the finish?
Gallows and Anderson were doing their move. I don't even know what the name of their move
Magic
is.
Killer?
Yeah, and then Cass kicked one of them in the head, so he went out, and then Enzo pulled and did a cradle with the other one. That was
so Enzo got the pinfall.
Enzo.
Yeah, I'm against this then.
Enzo got the pinfall, and yeah, it was just tag team kickoff show. Not much. Again, who knows what they're gonna do with Gallows and I talked about this before. Gallows and Anderson, I guess I need to go watch their old school matches and see what's so special about them.
It's because of how they've been booked. Yeah. They were killers in Japan.
Yeah.
And Gallows has been a legit badass because of his size, even when he was in Impact, which you didn't watch the Aces and Eights era, but...
So maybe joining Finn and redo the Bullet Club might be good for them.
Yeah, but then you'd have to turn either them or him, and right now they're not.
Yeah.
So.
Then the next segment, Miz TV with Finn Balor. And I was actually booking my room for my honeymoon in Hawaii, so I did not watch any of it. So Rich, what happened during the segment?
Miz was insulting Finn. Basically, you've been a champion everywhere. What makes you think you can be a champion here? Finn reminds him I was the first Universal Champion. After Miz had made some comment about, oh, didn't you get injured and you've been out for months? He's like, yeah, and I tore this muscle, and I tore that tendon, and I tore that tendon, and I still finished the match and became the first Universal Champion. And the Miz shined it off, and oh, well, what are you going to do, big man? And Finn said, well, I'm going to go after my belt. And Miz was shocked at this, and how dare you know that Brock Lesnar's the champion? You're nowhere in his league, a guy of your stature. Hell, I'd knock the snot out of you. And that's when Finn goes, I doubt that, and kind of stands up to him. Of course, Miz does the put Maurice between them. Finn says, you do this every time, and you always get your ass kicked. You know what? You're not worth it. He tries to leave. They're playing him out. Miz goes nuts. Turn off his music. This is my show. Finn turns it into a sling blade, then drop kicks him into the turnbuckle. So you've obviously built their little feud now. Okay, it doesn't do anything for either one of them because there's no belt involved.
Do you always need a belt involved?
Well, if you're going to
So
go that
Enzo
way,
and Cass
then
and Gallows
why
and
does
Anderson.
Lesnar even have the belt now? Because Goldberg didn't need it. Brock doesn't need it. Kevin Owens kind of needed it.
John Cena doesn't need it. He is the champion.
Exactly. Ask Punk. Yeah, he'll tell you. No, you don't have to have it, but the fact that Miz lost the Cena at WrestleMania, didn't have a program for this one, which I know it's kind of in the middle of the building towards this show, and Finn's just coming back, but what have you done with Finn? Nothing. He doesn't really have a point of view, and in fact, they teased before his concussion, they teased him versus Bray Wyatt, which we'll get to, but I don't know where Bray's going now. I'm guessing Finn goes with...
They can still do Finn and Wyatt until
then why did you
Lesnar's
tease
free.
it already? You can't have long-term booking and short-term booking, but they're two separate things. Short-term should build the long-term.
But they're doing Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar's long-term booking.
And we are all hating it and dreading it, which is part of why.
Well, I think because we hate Roman
and
so much.
We'll get there tonight. How the reaction that Roman got because we know the long-term plan.
We'll get to that. We'll see with Finn. I'm glad that Finn actually called out Lesnar for the Universal, maybe SummerSlam is when they'll have that match. I'll be actually very intrigued. I hope Finn does not get hurt, but I guess they wrestled in Japan.
Yeah.
How was that match? He didn't
I
throw
think
him
Brock,
around.
No, Brock won the championship, I think, in that. If I remember right.
So this leads to our opening match of the pay-per-view, starting with Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens for the United States Championship. And we were both wrong in our predictions. We both said KO was going to win, and well, he's going to end up leaving as U.S. champion.
But part of the confusion is we don't understand the stipulation about what...
Yeah, we had a 10-minute debate. So how I took it, I guess, was I thought Kevin Owens was drafted to SmackDown, and if Chris Jericho wins, then he goes on SmackDown. But it's not... But, Rich, you thought it's whoever wins ends up on SmackDown.
I took it as they drafted the U.S. champion. He took it as they drafted the current U.S. champion, Kevin Owens, but they also drafted the champion. But when they made that pick, they were together. But if for some reason at this Raw pay-per-view that's split apart, SmackDown's also contracted both of those. So technically they get both of them, which doesn't make sense to me, because then why did it need to be clarified on SmackDown? Because the only way that Jericho wouldn't be on SmackDown is if he lost, but either way, Kevin Owens was going to be on SmackDown, and the belt was going to be on SmackDown. This is a convoluted story, which is part of the problem of we can't follow what your logic is, and all you do is do pee-pee and poo-poo jokes. So it's kind of hard to figure out your higher plans when you go lowest common denominator.
And tater tot jokes.
Exactly. Yeah, grapefruits. It doesn't make any sense. What are you doing? If you want to be King of the Mountain kind of, and he got 7 points for this, but this guy got 3, but he was up by this, so it's actually 17-14 right now. It's going to go into double elimination. I don't want that shit. Just wins and losses don't have to matter, but they do count for something. There should be something to be said for that, or else why are we having fights at all? Why are these guys not just bringing out a gun and shooting a guy and, I won?
So with how they booked it, so Kevin Owens tapped out. I think, when was the last time Chris Jericho won with the Lion Tamer?
Wow, that's mean. He's a technical genius. He's the master of 1,001
holds.
Why do you discount his ability to make someone tap?
I'm just saying, it's been a while.
Just because he's been a striker as opposed to a submission.
No, I love Chris Jericho.
Lately does not mean that he doesn't know what he's doing.
Just how long has it been since he won with that move?
374 days.
Okay. All right.
I pull out the list, but I don't have it in front of me.
No, the kid had the list. I enjoyed that. I actually enjoyed the match. I liked it more than their Mania match.
They had more time, too.
More time. All the matches had enough time.
Although you had even more time where they weren't on screen together because they were on different shows. And it still feels like they still had chemistry and yeah.
But please let us know in the comments below what the actual stipulation was on the match. I would love it. Please let me know.
Before this is posted, we'll all know for sure.
Yeah. No, this is going to be posted tonight.
Ooh.
This will be posted tonight.
You got homework for the wedding. What are you talking about?
I can still get it done. Wow. That's why I'm not watching the 15 minutes delete thing he wants me. We'll get to that, though. He wants me to watch some 15-minute delete video. I'll get to it someday. Once my Xbox One controller is fixed. Son of a bitch.
This is the second controller problem he's had. I'm seeing a pattern. Does anybody else want to mention in the comments below how Steve has problems with his hands?
I'll talk about it in the PPVG or other games casts that we have on this YouTube channel.
They already know. They're all subscribed. They all like every video.
So what do you think the story's going? With Chris Jericho's US, we know he's leaving soon for Fozzy unless he's going to take the belt with him. So Lesnar takes Universal, Jericho takes it on tour with him.
No.
What do you think they're going? AJ Styles is number one contender.
No, they have the rematch either on Tuesday or AJ has his match, or it's a triple threat, and then that builds to Owens versus AJ. Either way.
And when we were talking,
Jericho won't have the belt.
When we were talking, you didn't seem excited for Owens AJ. I am.
I am. I don't like that SmackDown went from a well-booked show to the probably 5 or 6 weeks before WrestleMania. All of a sudden, they forgot how to book, and it turned into the B show. It turned right back into what SmackDown used to be, where they basically took their top 3 or 4 guys, made them contenders for the U.S. title, and then they took their 6
mid cards.
I wouldn't. No offense to these guys,
jobbers,
but the way you've been portrayed, you shouldn't even be mid card. The fact that any of you were in contention for a number one contendership for the WWE title, let's be honest, that's the belt, not the Universal. The WWE title is the one with the heritage. The fact that happened, I'm not trying to. I hope Jinder comes through on all this stuff. Whether he wins it or not, I hope he makes a good case for why he should be around.
Think he has a chance to win it?
There's always a chance to win it. It could be just to fuck with us and tell us, smart marks don't know shit. I don't care about that. I want a good story. You cannot give me what I want if it's in a way where I'm like, oh, that was intelligent. I respect a thief that can convince me to go along with, oh, he wouldn't really rob me. I don't like that you're a thief, but the fact that you tricked me, I'll give you props for that. I respect good artistry. But if you were just blatantly throwing shit out there, no offense to Mojo, he's got plenty of athletic ability. They're not giving him time to really show personality other than, I'm excited. I don't know what he's really capable of because they haven't really given him the chance, not even in NXT. What they're doing now, I don't give a fuck about Mojo Rawley doing anything. I don't care about him in the tag division, the cruiserweights. He could be going for the women's title. I wouldn't give a fuck. And
hardcore.
That's not a
TV.
That's not a slam on Mojo.
Bring back the TV
it's
championship.
It's a slam on creative because I don't know what Mojo is other than off-putting. I don't know what his character is. I don't know what his potential is. I don't see his skills. They're making him go the speed limit. And then they blame him because they can't get him over. He's not allowed to go out there and do whatever he wants. He'll be fired.
I thought we were talking about Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. How did Mojo...
That's the same thing, is because they were trying to get over that Mojo and Jinder and guys like that were in contention, and guys like AJ, who's actually held that title, are not. They're in the one that's a tier below it. And it's only because you had decided that you needed to elevate Lesnar Goldberg. So then to make Kevin Owens look like he was at a higher level, you took a guy that was up here, AJ Styles, and you bring him in to go, well, they're going to feud over Kevin's belt, so AJ has to lower himself as opposed to Kevin being raised AJ style. And it's all because you were sacrificing those guys for two. And I understand they make money, but they're part-timers. Brock wasn't even discussed as being a possibility for tonight's pay-per-view. We joked about, oh, you think he'll do a run-in versus Roman and Braun? Spoiler alert, he fucking didn't. Nothing, not even Paul Heyman. Not even a mention of him, other than what Finn did on Miz TV. So I think that is a big, serious misstep.
Well, those are our reactions to the Payback pay-per-view.
Those are my reactions.
And the preview for the Backlash pay-per-view. So you get two videos in one. So I really appreciate it. So thank you. No.
Don't get me started on Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah, great. We'll get into that in a few months. Great Balls of Fire. And we'll get into more about that WWE Championship match in a few weeks when we do talk about Backlash, which I just found out it's in a few weeks, which was fantastic. But the next match, the Cruiserweight Championship, Austin Aries versus Neville, ends in a disqualification, which you were actually getting pizza, so you did not see the finish. You were loading up, getting some food. So Austin Aries was in a submission, and then Neville was trying to grab the ref, threw into Austin Aries, ended in disqualification. I've been really down on the Cruiserweight division, except, again, Neville. All the matches in Neville, and I enjoyed the Austin Aries match at WrestleMania. I enjoyed this match. I think I even enjoyed it even more because the more time that they had to actually tell their story.
Well, they give him time to cut promos and be a character. You know, he's telling a story. When you have Jack Gallagher come out, he's entertaining, but what do we know him for? Oh, he's got an umbrella. He's a throwback. That's all you know about him. What's his motivation? Why is he in there? Why does he connect with the fact that he wants to be an old bare-knuckle brawler? What makes him do that? I'm sure there's a story that could be told there, but they're missing it. I know why Neville is a bad guy is because the fans don't care. He's been relegated. He's one of the top athletes in the world, and he's been an afterthought for all of us. So he came in here to show you what he can do. He was the guy that gravity forgot. Well, the Cruiserweights is the perfect venue for him, and he's been killing it, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And that's why. And then you give him Austin Aries, who is a tenured world champion in other places. He knows how to cut a promo. He knows what his character is. He's able to convey that, and they gave him the opportunity. What is Noam Dar's character other than a a voice inflection because of his Scottish heritage where he says "fucks" and it sounds like a curse word. That's the only character trait he has.
Fuck.
That kid is one of the best technical wrestlers that has ever come out of Britain, and he's relegated to a fucking dick joke again. It's ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. The cruiserweight, they need to start building these characters in the cruiserweight division so we care. And again, not even 205, but even the Raw matches for me to even pay attention. They've had Aries.
They have their own show and they don't do any of this stuff. What do? They put Rich Swann and Alicia Fox and Noam Dar in the back, and they cut a promo where she gets sprayed with talcum powder because these two guys are fighting over her. No offense, but she's a trained wrestler that actually has some ability too. But all they've done is taken the crazy parts of her total divas character and made that into, she's a nut job. It's taking everybody, including her, down. It's not good for any of them.
I'm glad to DQ have that program further even more so they have some more great matches. Hopefully Austin Aries will come out on top with the title whenever the feud ends. Hopefully. Who knows with the booking that they've been doing
At
these
least
days.
they're consistent about keeping them on Raw, and they're consistent about keeping them on these pay-per-view specials, whatever you want to call them. I was worried that when they launched 205 Live that it would be... They'd focus when they were going into a pay-per-view or a big match on 205 Live. We'd see a little bit of a build there, or the packages like we used to have when Raw and SmackDown were continuous. We'd be, last week on SmackDown, let's do the recap to build you for Raw storylines that night. I was worried they were going to do that they're actually giving them 2 or 3 matches every week on Raw, plus 205. They're getting another 3 matches in there. They're trying, but the thing is, when you get that hour of programming, drop one of those and let's get to know these people. I need to know why they are, especially if you're going to minimize, because the risk with all the flippy stuff, if you're going to minimize what they can really do to show
flippy
their athleticism.
Stuff. It's respect.
Well, I could have said flippy shit. That's what usually everybody does, but...
I'll accept that.
I want to know who they are as people. I know people didn't resonate with T.J. Perkins' story about, he was living in a car and all that stuff. But at least I knew why he felt betrayed by Brian Kendrick. What are you doing with that now? What's Brian Kendrick doing right now? Can you tell me? Because he was on Raw like the last 3 weeks.
Who is Brian Kendrick?
You don't...
No, I'm joking.
Okay, thank you.
No. I haven't seen him
I
lately.
said, the guy that trained Eva Marie and even... Spanky? Yeah, I know Spanky.
No, last time the last memory I have of Brian Kendrick, again, I guess when the Cruiserweight's on, is when he took the dude's passport. Was that a month ago?
Which was all just a rib, right?
Yeah. Oh, I have your passport.
That
You
was
were
all.
stuck in
That was
Japan.
all a joke about Justin Roberts to try to take away that. You're in the middle of a major investigation because of Mauro Ranallo's charges, and that's what you try to do with it. Classy as usual. This is why people mock us for being fans.
And then the next match, the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Hardy Boys versus Sheamus and Cesaro. The Hardy Boys won, but they lost a tooth in the process. Jeff Hardy...
You might say they broke a tooth.
Broke a tooth. Rich is waiting for the day for this broken gimmick to arrive.
Can somebody clue him in? Send him links, something.
I'm
I'm doing everything I could. I've had it on our watch list for months. He always finds an excuse because it sounds so crazy he doesn't want to watch it. It didn't happen in the WWE, so it doesn't count.
It doesn't happen, exactly. It doesn't exist. That Japan business, no. Impact, no. Mexico, WWE. That's the only history of wrestling.
That's what Vince wants you to believe.
Exactly. I've respect again. There's a lot of people that chant delete, so obviously he had something going on. I won't take anything away.
What does he have going on?
He has a following.
What do you mean?
He's gonna be deleted or delete someone. Every time you explain to
what that
me,
means.
I just get more lost.
No, because I don't understand
about the story about a 2-year-old winning a match. I don't know what that's all about.
What? How is this hard to...
No idea what that's all about. But the Hardys retained, and I'll have to give myself a pat on the back by calling the heel turn. Again, these shaking hands the last few weeks was just bullshit. Knew there was going to be a heel change.
Cesaro's the one who started it. So.
And it was something that they needed. Cesaro and Sheamus. It's a good change. They've been tag team for...
Yeah, they're dressing alike. Now they're acting alike.
So, and the Raw tag team division needs a little shake-up. It's been a little stale.
Broken?
Tag team division has been broken.
Wonderful!
And if they didn't do anything about it, it would have been deleted. So the Hardy Boys.
Delightful.
Oh, it would have been delightful. What did you think of the match?
It was a good match.
I enjoyed it.
Especially seeing what they were, because there were some actual hard knocks in there. Sheamus is not someone to pull a punch, and Jeff learned that firsthand tonight, but still hit all their spots, still making everything look good. Jeff took some nasty bumps. It was a decent match, and it was a good ending, and if they do go into the broken gimmick, it makes sense from what happened at the end, and if they don't, you've built for another match.
When do you think it happens?
I would do it tomorrow, but I would have done it a month ago anyways.
But realistically, you wouldn't have been able to introduce him as broken.
What do you mean realistically?
You wouldn't have been able to introduce him at Mania.
We don't know that we introduce him tomorrow. I get your point, but your whole point is, well, Vince didn't create it, so Vince doesn't want it. So that logic, they'll never do it. So.
Well, I was half bullshitting with you and half serious with Vince. But again, I truly do believe you cannot introduce the Hardys back in WWE with a broken gimmick.
Which is why I was against the white streak in his hair. I think he should have dyed it, and then he becomes broken, and he starts to take on these affectations and change his speaking pattern. He's been going out of it, which is why you can go back and tell it, but it is a continuation where you are going to have to watch that stuff or ask a friend that's seen it. And I try to explain to you, no, this refers to this. Oh, why does he keep talking about that dilapidated boat? You're like, when do they have a boat? There's not a boat in the match, in the ring. Oh no, here's what happened. Oh, George Washington's who he trained. What does he mean, George? Oh, that's his kangaroo. Who the fuck's Senor Benjamin? You don't know any of these things, and he'll make references to them.
Well, do you think I would be out of line saying the majority of the WWE audience does not know what the broken gimmick is?
Absolutely not. But that's why you shouldn't be doing any part of it. If you're going to,
well, absolutely not that they do know or they don't know.
Oh, I agree with you. Absolutely,
that they
do not know.
Okay, I'm not out of the
There's at the most between the people who watch Impact and their friends that maybe don't watch Impact, but were told to check out the stuff online.
Like the super hardcore knows.
At the most, 2 million people. And let's say that the internet wrestling community or the wrestling viewership of everything, Ring of Honor, Japan, all that stuff, is 5 million people, then that means that more than half haven't seen it. I think 2 million is probably an overestimation. It's probably closer to 1 million. But 2 million would be safe. But still, that's not half of the people that are watching wrestling. Yeah. So I agree with you, which is why if you're going to reboot it, then you shouldn't be doing any of this. And you can slowly, I like what he's been doing on Twitter where he's going back, but he's not just Matt Hardy from the Hardy Boys with a Z. He's also version 1. He's Millionaire Matt. He's also Broken Matt. And he kind of mixes things and goes here and there. And sometimes he teases that maybe he's broken and then he goes back on it and stuff like. I do like that stuff. But they're not doing that on camera, which is your whole argument of how do I know any of this stuff? You wouldn't get the references on Twitter. And if you're not watching his Twitter feed, you're not getting the references in any way because you're not hearing them.
Only on WWE TV.
That's exactly. What I mean. So if that's the only thing you're doing, but on WWE TV, what has he done? He's done things like and he does his delightful, or he does his big toothy grin and trying to bite people, and he's feeding right into it. It's not just the fans. He does this before stuff all the time. So like tonight when he was going off the top rope, did he not make the delete sign and then he fucking did his elbow? Or his leg drop? So they're feeding into it. Well, if you're going to reboot it, then reboot it officially. Stop dragging it out because you're muddying the waters. And you're making it where neither one of us are right. Not that we need to argue about it, but right now we are and we don't have to be. And eventually that argument, 50-50, turns into an argument not against each other, but against you because you've lied to both of us.
Who's you?
I'm talking to the creative team.
Oh, okay. I was like,
yes.
Who are we talking about? The creative team.
All right. Because our viewership, they do not have any kind of ownership of the trademarks, the story, anything like that.
We love you all, viewers. Not you, the viewers. Not all 5 of you.
No, specifically not you. You're cool. That guy is a fucking asshole. I don't know why you let him in your goddamn house, but that's your business.
And if you're watching you're watching this alone, I'm sorry. You have someone there behind you. The next match, the Raw Women's Championship with Rich, you called successfully. I was incorrect. I was wrong. I thought Bayley was going to win. Again,
You knew it wasn't going to happen when they said it was her hometown.
I was hoping Alexa. I
was
was hoping Alexa would win. I like Alexa. I'm high up on her. Got some great ass shots on her in today's match. That was nice.
You just like fishnets.
And I love fishnets. They look very good on me. But Alexa Bliss became the first women's champion for Raw.
Sorry, I'm washing down the vomit in my mouth.
For Raw and SmackDown. Way to go, Alexa. I'm very happy you did. I'm sorry on Talking Raw Smack. I don't know what was the after show. Talking Raw. You didn't get your
Raw Talk. Isn't it Raw
Talk?
Talking Smack.
Something Raw. I don't know. And I'm sorry.
You missed that joke, really?
Yeah. I'm
Something
sorry.
Raw,
I'm sorry, Alexa, that you did not get your balloons like you deserve. You absolutely do deserve your party and balloons that Renee and the King should have gave to you.
They had balloons.
Total bullshit.
Just during Bailey's entrance, and they were doing this.
Totally Bailey. But Bailey lost, and that has to be a disappointing title reign for her.
But it didn't have to be. Yes, I agree that it was because of how it was booked, but it didn't have to be. That could have been done right. But as soon as she won that before WrestleMania, we even discussed it that night because remember that happened in Vegas, and we were actually there. She did her celebration in the crowd like 3 rows in front of us.
Yeah.
And we both, on the drive home, were like, I don't know. I would have saved it. Because they should have. And they fucked it up. And now and I'll be honest, what did I say in the prediction show? Is they're going to give it to Alexa so that she can drop it to Sasha, so that's the build for SummerSlam is Bailey chasing after Sasha, because it's always money with a face chasing a heel. So that's what they're going to do.
You did. You call it. Looks like that's the path that they're going. Again, I thought they would let Charlotte be the first one to be the Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion.
Rehabilitating her into a face was more important.
Yeah. And for the long term.
Yeah.
For Charlotte. So I understand. And Alexa Bliss.
You just want to drive her. I get it, yeah.
You are beautiful. But Alexa.
Thank you.
Yes. Congratulations again. You deserve it. I'm glad. And you've been on a roll the last 4 or 5 months.
No, she's been doing good. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I was one of those guys.
Her character. I love her character.
I watched her in NXT when they announced that she was being drafted. I wasn't mad about it, but I was more excited about Carmella was being called up and why is Bailey not up here? And Alexa got the nod to go to SmackDown, but Alexa has not dropped the ball at all. She's come through like a champ. I'm actually kind of happy that she got to be the first one to have both brands championship. So
she deserves her damn balloons. Where does Bailey go from here? You go Sasha and Alexa. No.
I would say Mickie James probably. Try to get the rub from the veteran, and she gets to kind of have what they probably would have done with AJ and Lita if Lita had been capable of being in the ring still, and meet your hero is how they'll probably sell it, and she gets to they'll be contentious, but in July they'll have the big hug moment where Mickey's heart finally is repaired and she turns into a full face and she hugs Bailey and cheers her on just in time for Sasha to really snub Bailey and build that for SummerSlam. So that's what I do. Hopefully
she's going to be with Sasha, so she'll have another title reign, and hopefully, I just hope she doesn't lose momentum, which she already has. The momentum she got from NXT when she came in, all the crowd. Again, I don't watch NXT. I didn't know anything about her until she became on Raw.
WWE branded. And you didn't watch the Cruiserweight Classic. You're lucky if you watch the 24/7.
If it's not on USA, I don't watch it. There we go. If it's not on USA or the network.
But you had, NXT's on the network. What are you talking about?
No, only watch pay-per-views on the network. Or if it's that cartoon show that we watch.
Yeah. He'll watch Camp WWE, but he won't watch NXT.
Yeah, we had a marathon.
Just remember that when you all think that I'm a cynical fucking asshole and I need to shut up. Just remember that.
The next match, if you call it a match or a movie, I don't know what
are you talking about?
The House of Horrors, Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. Again, I read about it already before that it was going to be taped in a limo. I'm learning from the best.
What do you mean?
I'm learning from the best here about spoilers. So I spoiled myself with what the match. I know it was live.
How'd you know
it was fucking dark already. I don't know how it was fucking dark.
We had this discussion. Okay. Bray, The Undertaker was kind of like the Lord of Darkness. Bray is in charge of light. But light can be snuffed out. That's part of his powers. You can turn it off. So he turned off the sun And at the very end, he put those red lights on the house, and he controlled the holograms at WrestleMania. It makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense.
I just love Randy being crushed like a cartoon character under a fridge.
That was...
If you saw it said in mud, it said "Follow the Buzzards." Branding.
I don't know what to think of it.
But there were
they took themselves way too serious.
Stapled to the ceiling. That's scary, right? It looked like my grandmother's house with all the doilies and the old, upholstered chairs everywhere.
And then we're talking about the limo driver. Like, what was he thinking? He drops one guy off and a new guy comes in. Like, all right, let's go.
He can't tell. They all look alike.
Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton?
That was the joke. Because I'm a racist, so I naturally go, two white guys, they all look alike. So.
Oh, okay.
That was fake racism, just so everybody's clear. It's just a haircut. It's not a lifestyle.
Okay. Thank you for going into specifics with that.
I forget people don't know my sense of humor. So.
Well, they're starting to get to know it right now.
Unfortunately.
There we go.
I'll see you guys down on HR.
With Dwight. With Dwight and Jim will be there as well, waiting.
It was my balls that were in Jello, so...
House of Horrors, I want to know how many takes and how long it took him to film and edit that over the weekend. And, wow. What that piece of shit was. Edit it? Yeah. How many cameramen did they have in that house to be able to get all of those shots at that time? That'd have been 10 cameramen had to be in that house. Seriously. And you didn't see any of them.
This is the best part about being a wrestling fan, is that we will talk about how important it is to be realistic with, Kalisto got a win over Braun last week. How is that believable? And then
it was a dumpster match.
We had that whole thing filmed where people were focusing on flickering light bulbs. And we're all, this seems like a ridiculous argument. Duh, of course. We all got to see the House of Horrors match. The whole premise was stupid. It was poorly executed. It was badly thought out. We all knew that because they didn't have a plan. They originally thought it was for the title, and then they remembered that's a SmackDown title, so we can't really do that because it'll telegraph that Bray's going to win. And lo and behold, who won? Who won?
We all lost.
Yeah.
No one won. But that was the first half. The first half was in the house. Got a fridge. I don't know how Randy made it back to the ring. He's a fast sprinter, or he was in, or he Ubered.
He slid. Do you know?
He probably had a cell phone. He Ubered back to the arena.
This was clear. Okay, he doesn't remember continuity. We all saw at WrestleMania when Randy has vast distances to cover. He calls on a magic sperm. He jumps on its neck, and it carries him all the way he needs to go.
A magic sperm.
You saw it on the walkway going to the ring at WrestleMania. That was like a mile-long walk.
Oh.
And the magic sperm carried him down there.
It was gigantic sperm.
It was like the never-ending story, except with semen.
Hey, I like the never-ending story. Falcor. And then after the House of Horrors,
he Falcored the shit out of him.
Bray Wyatt got in the limo, said, take me to the arena. Randy Orton was supposedly under a fridge. So they went to the next match, Seth Rollins and Samoa Joe, which I was wrong again, I thought Samoa Joe has to win, make him look strong. Rich was right. Said I
didn't want to be. I
predicted Seth Rollins.
I wanted Joe to win, but
I guess I'm
just like I wanted Bayley to win.
Trying to think too logically about this. And now Seth Rollins took out Triple H. I'm at least happy that Samoa Joe was like a fluke. Wasn't I don't think it's a decisive victory. It was a quick victory.
You clearly showed that the guy was injured going into it. He was further injured during the course of the match, the ending. My estimation, and I'm not a wrestler, so I don't have the right to say it, but I'm still going to. He fucked up the schoolboy, or whatever the fuck you want to call that little twist over into the pinfall. He didn't have the power to get him over because he was too busy trying to sell the knee, and it looks sloppy, and it makes Joe look weak. But it doesn't matter because that's what we're stuck with. So
this guy who's supposedly the destroyer, again, I've only seen a few matches of Samoa Joe. I didn't watch any matches on NXT. I only watched one match against Kurt Angle, one against AJ Styles on Impact. And
he held his own. He looked like he was on their level.
He looked great.
He didn't look like he was being carried, correct?
He looked great. And then he comes in. I liked how he was introduced, beat up Seth Rollins again, fortunately that injury. but he came in as a badass, as the destroyer, and they needed to keep that going. Now he lost to Seth, who had one leg, he was injured. Now Samoa Joe, you destroyer of what?
And taking on Sami Zayn wouldn't have done anything for him either because they had so devalued Sami Zayn. So he didn't really get a huge win over him because that's not a defeat. You know, if I go into a destroyed hotel room and then I break the window,
By
my
Randy
God,
Orton?
I can't believe you broke the window.
Did Randy Orton destroy the room first? Was that before or after?
No, exactly. It was already a dilapidated house that he went into, and then they overturned a fridge and broke a couple cabinets. How can you tell the difference? It was already a shithole. How do I know that you're such a badass that you tore this place down? You didn't. So that's the thing. Sami Zayn already devalued. Samoa Joe didn't destroy anything because, no offense to Sammy, he's one of the best workers in the world, but the way they presented him, you didn't destroy shit, man. And then tonight, he got beat by a handicap guy.
Oh, whoa.
I'm sorry, is he not supposed to be limping around? We can see the brace underneath that, and they sold the knee injury the entire night.
So is Samoa Joe a B-plus player now in Triple H's eyes?
Not in Triple H's, but Triple H isn't writing the show.
No, but Triple H's character, he loses, then all right, Samoa Joe, destroy him for me.
No. Heels don't work on the same logic as humanity.
Oh.
When you're a failure... Okay, remember, go back to your 80s cartoons. You have the supervillain, you got their minions, right?
Sure.
So when the minions fuck up episode after episode, they don't get fired. They might get ridiculed, they might get smacked around, but they're never fired. Okay? You're thinking like 90s kind of thing, like Beast Wars, where the minion...
I actually watched Beast Wars.
Where the minion is so distraught over their treatment after a minute failure against the heroes that then he starts to question, am I really doing the right thing if my friends treat me like this when I have a setback? And then he ends up joining the other side and fighting against his former friends because they're the ultimate evil. You're not thinking like that. Vince looks like this is the 1980s. So
I have no idea what you're talking about. But I will rewatch that and see if that makes sense.
You think that Samoa Joe is going to be thrown out of there. Samoa Joe doesn't need to be thrown out of there unless they've built up a heel that he needs to conquer. But they haven't built up a heel and they haven't built up a face, which is why Roman gets the reaction he does, is because the two guys that they built up are in opposite roles of what they should be. We cheer Braun, who is supposed to be hated, and we boo Roman, who's supposed to be cheered.
We'll get into that. And so where does this feud continue on?
God, I hope not. But I don't know where you go with either one of these guys after this. I don't know what the program is for either one of them, so I would imagine it's a rematch.
They'll
which
continue
is unfortunate.
On.
I thought this was the makeup because of Seth's legit knee injury. That this was supposed to be the in-between between the Rumble and WrestleMania. They would have done the Samoa Joe match there to build towards Triple H. But with Seth being hurt, they couldn't do it. So this is the makeup for it because they didn't know what they were going to do. And they were like, oh, that's in our back pocket. We'll flip it out now because we're doing the trade and all that kind of stuff. I don't know where you go from here for either one of them. That's the problem.
They'll be at the Great Balls of Fire in a Balls of Fire match.
I still want that to be his retirement. Is it Great Balls of Fire? It works perfectly. And if Triple H comes out with Katie Vick, that'd be even better.
Then we get into part 2.
Come on, I straight faced that and everything. You didn't give me nothing?
No. Nothing. Kane, he deserves too much respect.
I don't got a problem with Glenn. Come on. Kane's done. He's going to be the mayor of Knoxville County.
Kane is never done.
Go vote.
Kane is never done.
Go click like.
I want Kane Taker 7 at next year's WrestleMania. So House of Horrors Part 2. Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton, they finish the match in the ring. Somehow again, Randy Orton booked it, sprinted, made it back in the ring in time.
How do you think he got back?
He Ubered it. He called an Uber.
But he didn't have his phone.
How do you know he didn't have his phone?
I'm assuming because...
He had pockets.
He did, but he was getting thrown around quite a bit. I would assume that it probably got damaged.
Exactly, he found it.
Tussle.
He found it.
It fell out, and
called
then
an
Bray
Uber.
missed it, and then he found it.
Yeah.
And...
He called an Uber.
Okay, plausible. I'll give him that.
He called Batista in the middle of Guardians. Like, boy, Evolution, help me out. They're in San Jose. He's probably in LA. Call Batista.
We know that that house was in San Jose.
Up.
It was never clearly stated where the House of Horrors actually took place.
Near about
30
minutes from the arena.
We assumed. We assume, but the fact that it was so dark, maybe it's in another time zone. But remember, Bray has mystical powers, so if he was able to alter his travel through time, that would explain why Randy had more time to recover and actually get to the arena when Bray showed up. So.
I'm just proud of myself. I at least got something else right besides the Sheamus and Cesaro, and I called Jinder will become coming back with the title, nailing Randy Orton, and that's how Bray Wyatt
Bollywood Boys, yeah,
would win. Again, to set up that feud, lets Randy Orton lose, keep the title, but sets up their feud in 3 weeks for Backlash, which we'll get into in 3 weeks. We won't talk about that now. I'm just glad that match was fucking over. Like, that was...
So was the crowd. That was the problem.
The crowd. Again, I feel sorry for the crowd. Have to watch that pre-taped.
Booed every time they showed ads for that. I can't imagine what it sounded when that video was actually playing. I can't imagine what was going on. I can't wait to go on Facebook and see all the videos of here's what was going on during that 15 minutes. It's going to be bad.
Throwing shit in the ring. So that House of Horrors, hopefully they don't do that fucking shit again. That was an experiment. They tried
First annual House of Horrors.
First and last House of Horrors match. And that leads us to the main event, Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns comes out all bagged up. He's bandaged up. Bagged up. He's going to be put in a body bag. That was just what's going to happen.
He's the conqueror.
Braun Strowman, put him in a body bag. And
he's
bandaged up.
He's not a dead guy. He's not a live guy. He's just a guy.
Just the guy. Just a guy who killed the dead guy. Who put the dead guy into retirement.
He's already dead before he got there. It really is.
Braun Strowman went over clean. So in our preview, we predicted 8 run-ins. And 0 of them happened. At least I figured we would get 1 of the run-ins in. Brock Lesnar.
It's hard to book because they built them all up.
No, we got 1. We got Jinder Mahal. We got that run-in.
Yeah. No.
We got them all. Yeah.
Jinder Mahal wasn't... That's in Randy's match. What are you talking about?
I know, but we said we predicted 8 run-ins.
For the whole show.
For the whole show.
I thought you meant just for the main event.
Oh, the main event we could have gotten like 6 or 7 run-ins. We were hoping Lesnar would show up, but again, Strowman went over clean on Reigns.
I don't get it.
And then Reigns ate his blood capsule, and it looked like he didn't swallow.
What are you talking about?
I know, when Strowman hit him with the...
But who would have done that? Byron's on SmackDown.
It was Fit Finlay threw him capsule, made it.
Wow, you're gonna bring Fit into this?
Yeah, Fit Finlay. He was down there.
Wow.
Here you go, Roman. Choke on this.
Yeah.
Shove it down his throat. Break that capsule.
Just right now, I'm gonna clear up. Fit and Adam Pearce were over dealing with Braun. They were not so sloppy as to fuck up that blood spot. I just want that clear. They weren't involved in that mess because it didn't. It was bad. It was poorly done.
The spot with Roman.
The blood capsule. Yeah, it was bad.
You had to overdo it. He was choking.
I know he has to overdo it. That's the problem. You always have to overdo it because you keep pushing yourself into a corner.
It's called entertainment. You have to overdo entertainment.
Which is funny that you keep going for logic, and yet when I argue logic, then you go, "Oh, let's go the other way. Let's go entertainment."
Yeah, it's called talking to yourself.
I am.
Yeah.
Because we have no viewers, so I am talking to myself. You're my favorite. No, not you. Him. Not you.
That's the second time.
You're all right, but he's the man.
It's the second time you're talking to our audience.
I was talking to you earlier, and that guy behind you, he's creepy. I'm just saying.
Again, we'll see with Roman Reigns take him off TV for a little bit. Bring Braun Strowman, Lesnar at the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, obviously.
Because we all want to see Strowman say...
I just want to see the belt defended.
What belt?
The Universal title.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
The fruit roll-up title?
The fruit roll-up that hasn't been mentioned. Lesnar comes on, makes some challenges, goes off. What happened to the 30-day rule?
Has it been 30 days?
It will be.
I'm pretty sure that Paul Heyman, I don't know if you're aware of this, Paul Heyman is the advocate for the Beast Incarnate. He probably worked a contract where there's more than 30 days allowable because of the limited availability of such a high-profile client.
For $10 million?
We don't need to discuss numbers here. That's for the hoi polloi.
Okay.
We're businessmen. If we're going to handle this in public, let's do it with some class. As Mr. Heyman
Stay classy.
As Mr. Heyman would do.
Okay.
See that right there? That was more characterization than I've seen the last month.
I'll accept that logic.
Right there.
I'll accept that.
You know what Ellsworth got over? Is because there was more characterization and his lack of chin. But there was more characterization than anything you're doing with all of 205. That's why. People want to watch this shit. There's a reason why people watch Jerry Springer. And it isn't just for hillbillies throwing chairs at each other because they were pissed off that their cousin was fucking
Jerry Springer. Are we still in the 90s? Where are we at?
People still watch that shit. I'm just saying. Sorry.
I think you're stuck in the 90s.
I
think you're stuck in the 90s.
I am, because that's when we had 7 million viewers.
Ooh.
And you see how we hit a tipping point? Now we're lucky to get 4. We're lucky to get 4. It's not like 3 million people died.
That was a hit below the belt.
They just went away.
That was a hit below the belt, but well-deserved, though.
Just saying.
That was well played. But there's some...
Still profitable, though.
Yeah. There's some interesting...
That's 2 different discussions. One's on camera, one's not.
There's some interesting chants that was happening towards the end.
Yeah.
As in, after Roman was pretty much bleeding to death, choking up blood, the crowd is yelling, "Thank you, Strowman."
And you deserve it. That was the best part.
And then while Roman was walking out...
You deserve it.
They were saying, "You deserve it."
And there was a point before the finish where it was a "Let's go Roman sucks" like Cena would get. But then it clearly turned into 80% "fuck you, Roman." So, that's brutal. Roman's got skills. I can see Roman being on top. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with how he's being presented. And the bigger problem is that the fans are telling you what they want. When I go to Pizza Hut, I'm not looking for hamburger. Hamburgers are great. McDonald's, Burger
You're welcome,
King,
by the way.
Wendy's, they have... Yeah, thank you.
Pizza was
have... Good. It was great pizza, too. They
Non-sponsored, but Pizza Hut's good.
No, it's totally sponsored. They slipped me a 10. No, I'm just kidding. I got to be clear because we are broadcasting this. You go to Pizza Hut or any pizza restaurant, these other hamburger joints, let them do their thing, but I came here for pizza. I don't want you to sell me on hamburger. Can I get a fucking pizza at Pizza Hut? I didn't come here for a hamburger. I'll go to the Hamburger Hut for a hamburger. I'm going to Pizza Hut. I want pizza. So when I tell you that I don't want Roman,
there we go. Coming first circle. It's coming.
It's a metaphor. Let me explain it to you.
There we go.
Because you couldn't follow it apparently. When I tell you I want Roman to be the destroyer, I want him to be the bad guy, then make him the fucking bad guy. I'm trying to give you my money. Why don't you want my money? You keep asking for my money as you keep telling me it's only $9.99 a month, and look at these new shirts that are available. I'm surprised if we didn't live in the current smartphone generation, you'd be hitting me with a stupid fucking hotline about who the new Ring of Honor champion is, even though you have no say in it. Just take my fucking money, but do it in a way that makes me feel like you're not fucking me up the ass for it.
Are you still subscribed to the network?
Sadly, yes.
So they are taking your money.
They are.
They took 3.5 hours of our time.
Here's how I justify it, and feel free to argue. I am kind of a hypocrite on this. But I watch it because I do watch NXT every week. I do watch the 24/7 specials. I do watch Ride Along. I was watching JBL's Legend Show. I do watch Table for Three. I'm going to watch some of these specials. And I probably would still be watching because I do watch Raw and SmackDown. But I don't watch 205 Live. I don't watch Superstars. I don't watch Camp WWE. But I do feel I'm getting my $10 worth. But I am still in the mode of I would pay you $60 for a decent pay-per-view 12 times a year. Or even now, where you're doing one every 3 weeks because of the two brands. So you're probably getting 22 purchases from me. But you're not going to.
No. Shame on you, WWE. Shame on you.
He's over as a heel. Turn him heel, and then he becomes like The Rock. Then he becomes the cool heel. We give you money, the build up to the heel, and we're supporting the face that's trying to take him down. He becomes the cool heel, and then we give you money until you turn him into the conquering face that finally realized the fans are behind him, so he doesn't have to turn his back on them anymore. He becomes the conqueror, and then we, in that way, and then we give you more money for that. That's how you build a mega power. The best reaction to
The
that...
mega powers explode.
The best reaction to that is the inverse, and that's Hogan. Hogan was pushed as the ultimate babyface, and when that finally wore out its welcome, you turned him heel. And all of a sudden, the NWO was the biggest thing in wrestling. It almost put you out of business. The money potential is there. I'm not saying you're going to go out of business. I'm one of those people that's blindly following you and keeping you going. And not just me alone, which is part of the reason why I don't give up, is because I know that the rest of us will still be subscribed. But that doesn't mean that you can't get more money out of us. That's what you're trying to do, right?
How can they get more money from us?
By giving us a taste of what we want. And when you have...
By
it's one
raising
thing
the amount for the network?
No. You've been pushing Roman. The reason why you're hurting Roman right now is because we believed in Roman. He was the badass as the silent member of the Shield, right?
Yes.
Then you started to really push him as he's the next guy.
He's
and
the
we
guy.
went with that, but remember he had his first injury when he was Superstar of the Year at the Slammies that year. And when he came back, all of a sudden he was undefeatable. And that's when it started to turn, because we had heard all the reports, we had seen all the signs, we'd seen all the booking, we'd seen all the programs you'd done with him. He was clearly Superman.
Was one of the worst booked Rumbles. Take Daniel Bryan out of the Rumble early, then put Roman Reigns in, and that was weak out.
And
Daniel
then the
Bryan.
one after that was Bryan wasn't even in it. So
the one before.
yeah,
That Batista one.
Yeah.
That for WrestleMania
But that was-
30,
but
31.
and they were pissed at Batista because of that too.
That Batista got booed out.
And what does Batista say? He told them, "When I come back, I should be a heel." No,
but-
you're the returning superstar.
No.
You should be the face.
But Batista put over Daniel Bryan and the Shield, though. According to Batista. We're going to go see Guardians. We're excited for Thursday night. Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 2 coming out. We'll be there. But Vince McMahon, you have to take this into account, where your hero bleeding to death, walking out of the ring,
Nobody cared.
and people are chanting, "You deserve it."
Nope.
To bloody, to be half dead.
The only groan was when Braun missed spearing Roman through the ambulance door.
Which was in Raw
Took
Talk.
the door off, and then hit the cardboard boxes up against the wall. And we were all pissed because we knew the fight was over. We wanted to see him just eviscerate him.
I was hoping Strowman would...
If Strowman cut off Roman's head on live television,
Jesus.
would have been. I'm going for the extreme, because if he would have done that, he would have been a conquering hero. And I don't want to see that happen, of course, but he would have been seen as a hero, not as a villain, and that's a villainous move. That's how poorly
What, you want Roman's
booked
head in the middle of the ring in a post?
I don't want to see that, but it's because you fed me what I don't want. You've given me nothing but veggies when all I want is one dessert. Can I have one dessert? Can you give me one scoop of
Feed
ice
me
cream?
more.
And
Feed me
instead,
more.
what do? Guess what? Asparagus for your 57th meal in a row. And I don't have anything else. I don't have a steak. I don't have potatoes. I certainly don't have ice cream. You're just giving me asparagus every fucking seating. Nothing but green beans. I know, Matt loves them, but the rest of us don't. I want something a little bit sweet on my palate. Can I have a victory?
But Vince, we'll be here in 3 weeks to watch your next pay-per-view because we love you so much. So just think, he actually enjoyed the pay-per-view halfway decently. Just think, if you see a pay-per-view that he did not like, how long this is going to be. This is going to be 2 hours for any event we
Have
didn't
any
like.
of you guys seen Chris Angel's show?
No. Get the fuck out of here.
That's an inside joke.
So that is our reactions to the Payback pay-per-view. Almost as long as our WrestleMania reactions for what we thought, and the matches were even more in that mania. But yes, we'll be back in 3 weeks for our for Backlash preview. And wow, that card better improve, or we'll buckle your seats. This is going to be a long one.
I can't wait for the six-person women's tag match.
They don't improve that.
Calling it right now.
Yes.
I called it last week, but...
So please leave your comments below of what you felt about the Payback pay-per-view and the booking.
50-50.
And we'll see you for the next pay-per-view.